Hello everyone, my name is Albert Cagas, and for this video, we are going to make a client-server socket programming, and this of course with the help of my partner Brian Entenia for helping me behind the scenes of making this video. And without further ado, so let's get on with it. And first things first, we are going to import the necessary libraries we're gonna use to make the server a client server socket program. So let's type it up. Now that we have the libraries that we need, okay, so now let's initialize some classes that we need for the socket programming to work. So in this case, we're gonna need a buffered reader, uh, buffered writer, a socket class, and a server socket. Okay, so let's type it up quickly. And there you go. So we already have the classes. We already initialized it. And now the next thing we're gonna do is to make a server socket with a port as a parameter, so that we're gonna have um it will be the one that will connect server and client. So let's type it up quickly. Okay, so we already have a server socket, and now before anything else, um, we're gonna have to print a message that will let us know that the server class have started. So we're gonna have to type system that out that print and mm, uh, server has started. Okay, so as soon as the class starts, this message will print out. And when the class will start now, the first thing we're gonna do is to wait for client to connect to the server. So to do that, we're gonna have to store the client into the socket class. So we're gonna put socket is equals to server socket that accept. There you go. So this will keep waiting until a client will be started. So after the client has connected, we're gonna have to put display a message that there's a client that have connected. Okay, so we're gonna display a message client have connected, and there you go. Okay, now that we have the client have connected, the next thing we're gonna do is to initialize our buffer reader with the socket, which is the client in the buffer reader and the buffer writer. So let's type it up. Okay, so we used an input stream reader and output stream writer, so that this will be the one that's gonna be used to pass in the buffer reader. Okay, so now that we have initialized the classes, and then next is to wait for the server for the client to connect. And once it's connected, system.out.println client have connected, and we also have initialize also the buffer reader and writer with the socket as its parameter. And now we're gonna have to use a while loop to keep looping, in which will be waiting keep waiting for the client to send a message. And as soon as the client sends a message, it will then be printed out and then loop again, in which we'll wait again. Okay, so to do that, we're gonna have to write it up quickly. So that is all. So what will happen here in the while loop is, while the socket is not equals to null, so we're gonna store the line that have the client sent to the server. We're gonna store it in the string message, and that string of message is gonna be displayed here in the server my server class. And then after it have displayed the message, it will then write a message to the client, in which saying that sent. So meaning the message is already sent, which means the my server class already received the message. And after everything, it, but there another line will be instantiated and another message will be asked. So it will loop again to the top, and again we'll wait for the client to send a message. Okay, so that is pretty much everything for a simple client server socket programming. And of course, we're gonna have to put all of this in a try catch. So I think that is all for the my server class. And now what we're gonna have to make is the client class. Okay, now in the client class, first things first is to import the necessary libraries that we're gonna use. So for the case of client class, we're not gonna need the server socket, but instead we're gonna have to instantiate a socket with the same port number. So we also gonna need a buffered reader and also the scanner class. Okay, so let's type it up quickly. Okay, so these will be the classes that we're gonna name. And now we're gonna have to initialize the buffered reader and the buffered writer using the socket. Okay, so now that we've initialized the buffered reader and the buffered writer, the next thing we're gonna do is to make a while loop that will keep asking the user for the message that is to be sent to the server. So this is it. So this while loop basically says that as while the socket is connected, this will keep looping. And in the loop, we're gonna store the user input into the message string, and that message string will be written in the buffered writer, and then that buffered writer will pass into the socket, and that socket will be passed into the server socket, and then that server socket will get the socket from the client, and then will be displayed all the informations that the client have input, and then it will display to the my server class. And then as soon as the my server class gets the information from the socket, it will then give the client, this my client class, it will again give a message that is saying sent. So that's why we have printed a message here, system that out print ln, and say as a parameter of buffer reader that read line, because of this message. So as soon as the server class gets the message, it will then respond with the sent. Okay, I think that is pretty much everything. So of course, also we have to encapsulate all of this in a try catch. Okay, so I think that is all for the my client class. So let's save it, and we're also gonna save the server class. Okay, so now if we try this in a console, let's try it, and let's change the directory. We're also gonna need the command prompt for the client class. Okay, so let's start running the server, my server dot java, then java my server. As you can see, message has displayed server has started. So meaning the server is currently waiting for client to connect. And if we try to run the client class, uh, java c my client java, and then java my client, and there you go. So client have connected. Okay, so if we try to put some message, like for example, hello world, and there you go, it is then displayed to the server class, the server console. And of course, as soon as it received the message, it also respond with a sent. Okay, so let's try again with the my name is Ryle Cagas. So there you go. Okay, so that is all for this video. And thank you for watching. See you next time.